Coming up on 5 Minute News. Supreme Court reviews Trump efforts to change census data on immigrants. 4 LA County sheriff's officials refused to testify in shooting inquest. And Moderna asking US and European regulators to okay its virus vaccine. It's Tuesday, December 1. I'm Anthony Davis. Conservative US Supreme Court justices on Monday appeared reluctant to block a vaguely defined plan by Donald Trump's administration to exclude immigrants living in the United States illegally from the population totals used to allocate congressional districts to states. The court's conservatives, who hold a 6-3 majority, signaled such a ruling might be premature based on the administration's admission that it does not yet know how or if it will be able to implement the proposal, a facet of Trump's hardline policies on immigration being pursued in his final weeks in office. Challengers led by New York State and the American Civil Liberties Union have argued that Trump's proposal would dilute the political clout of states with larger numbers of such immigrants, including heavily Democratic California, by undercounting state populations and depriving them of House seats to the benefit of his fellow Republicans. The administration has yet to disclose what method it would use to calculate the number of people it proposes to exclude or which subsets of immigrants may be targeted. Acting Solicitor General Jeffrey Wall told the justices the administration could miss a December 31st deadline to finalize a Census Bureau report to Trump containing the final population data, including the number of immigrants excluded. The number of House districts in the 50 states is based on a state's population count in the decennial national census, which was conducted earlier this year. Democrat Joe Biden is set to become president on January 20th and could reverse course if the appointment numbers have not been finalized by then. The U.S. Constitution requires apportionment of House seats to be based upon the whole number of persons in each state. Until now, the government's practice was to count all people, regardless of their citizenship or immigration status. The justices were expected to decide on the case on an expedited basis, with a ruling before the end of the year. The court potentially could dismiss the current legal challenge, a move that would leave open the possibility of subsequent lawsuits after the administration actually takes action. There are an estimated 11 million immigrants living in the United States illegally. The challengers have argued that Trump's policy violates both the Constitution and the Census Act, a federal law that outlines how the census is conducted. 4 Los Angeles County sheriff's officials are refusing to testify in the coroner's inquest into the deputy shooting death of Andres Guardado, invoking their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, even though none of them have been accused of a crime. Deputies Miguel Vega, who opened fire, and his partner Chris Hernandez, as well as 2 homicide detectives investigating the case, have indicated they would not answer questions about what led up to the shooting of the 18-year-old Guardado, who was shot 5 times in the back and killed in an incident that generated weeks of large protests. A sheriff's department spokesman said each person made the decision on the advice of his legal counsel, not at the direction of Sheriff Alex Villanueva. Legal experts said the move shows a refusal by the sheriff's department to cooperate in a proceeding that Villanueva dismissed in a radio interview earlier this month as a circus stunt. The coroner's inquest, the first of its kind in nearly 30 years, was being conducted yesterday so a hearing officer, retired Judge Candace Cooper, could determine the cause of death. The coroner's office has already determined that Guardado died by homicide on June 18, when he was shot 5 times in the back. The official autopsy report, released in July, determined that all 5 gunshot wounds were fatal. The hearing came amid heightened tensions between Villanueva and county officials, who accuse him of stonewalling oversight and rebuffing efforts to hold him accountable. The inquest was recommended by the Board of Supervisors earlier this year amid nationwide protests over police brutality, with Guardado's shooting reigniting calls for accountability and transparency within the department. Moderna said on Monday it was asking US and European regulators to allow emergency use of its COVID-19 vaccine, as new study results confirm the shots offer strong protection, intensifying the race to begin limited vaccinations as the coronavirus rampage worsens. Multiple vaccine candidates must succeed for the world to stamp out the pandemic, which has been on the upswing in the US and Europe. US hospitals have been stretched to the limit as the nation has seen more than 160,000 new cases per day and more than 1,400 daily deaths. Since first emerging nearly a year ago in China, the virus has killed more than 1.4 million people worldwide. Moderna is just behind Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech in seeking to begin vaccinations in the US in December. British regulators are also assessing the Pfizer shot and another from AstraZeneca. Moderna created its shots with the US National Institutes of Health and already had a hint they were working, but said it got final needed results over the weekend that suggest the vaccine is more than 94% effective. Moderna said the shot's effectiveness and a good safety record so far with only temporary flu-like side effects mean they meet requirements set by the US FDA for emergency use before the final stage testing is complete. The European Medicines Agency, Europe's version of the FDA, has signalled it also is open to faster conditional clearance. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.